Joining me is someone who knows the energy industry inside out. Has been the head of the Australian Energy Council, the Energy Supply Association of Australia, the Clean Energy Association, now heads the advisory firm Boardroom Energy. It's Matthew Warren. Matthew Warren, thank you so much indeed for your time. First of all, do we face blackouts?
Hello, Andrew. We face blackouts all the time, so it's a question of risk. And the report that the Energy Market Operator released today is an annual report. So they do this every year to signal the risk of reliability looking forwards 10 years. The important thing about this report is it's a significant step change. It's identifying that the risks have escalated. So, that's asking the market to respond to those risks and those threats by investing more generation. The problem, Andrew, we've got is this market's become really quite uninvestable for most sorts of assets because of the way it's changed over the last few years. So the ESU on its own just won't deliver the changes that perhaps it would have a few decades ago.
So what has actually caused this crisis? We've had that shortage of investment you're talking about. I've seen estimates that we're only getting a third of what we would need, even if the green technology did all work and worked on time and all that kind of stuff. A third of the investment we actually need. How can we end up in this mess?
Well, I think there's a separation in Australia. There's a separation in Australia between the ideology and the physics. The electricity system is a giant machine. It's slow to build and slow to break. It is. It's like a newspaper, and it takes a lot. It takes a lot to rebuild it. So, in the electricity infrastructure game, 3 years is nothing. You need to be planning 3 to 5 years ahead to make sure you've got all the infrastructure in place. So we've begun this process of building transmission to connect up the renewable energy zones, and that's taking longer than was first anticipated, significantly longer. That's both a function of the pace at which we can build this infrastructure. The rest of the world is also building big transmission lines at the same time. It's also there's a shortage in just getting their hands on the equipment to build it, and then there are some communities in regional Australia who are opposing that. So that's slowing that process down. Now, we need to respond to that, because if this plan is reliant on that form of generation to bring electrons to the cities and it's not ready, then we have to do something else to augment that before the coal generators exit the market. And they're not just exiting because they're being forced out. They're getting old and they're getting less reliable. And to your point, the owners of coal generators have weak incentives to invest lots of money to maintain them, because the market is squeezing their profitability out. The way renewables work with coal means there are less and less reasons to maintain coal to keep it on. So we have this weird time, this clock ticking, where the coal generators are on their way out, but we aren't getting new capacity in on time to replace it. And we're starting to see that with today's report.
Now, Matthew, I'm thinking the answer is God knows, but how are we going to get out of this?
Look, so there are some simple solutions. In states like Victoria, the easiest way to start fixing this is to build things that you can build quickly and that will do the job that you need. So that's gas and perhaps some batteries. They can be dispatchable. They can help augment supply in those critical times. And that probably applies in New South Wales as well. I think the New South Wales government is looking at extending the life of the Eraring power station, and that would make sense until that extra capacity is available. Queensland has probably less of a risk in the short to medium term, but it will face the same challenges. And South Australia is very reliant on bringing in electrons from Victoria. It's got a lot of renewables, and when the renewables aren't running, then it's very reliant on our brown coal. So it's what we need, Andrew, is we need to be pragmatic. This is really unhelpful, and not just that's in the immediate term, but that's also in the planning of the grid. We're trying to build a grid that's never been built. Sorry, Andrew, go.
Well, I haven't seen pragmatism, Matthew, for at least a decade, maybe 2 decades, so good luck with that. What I think you mean is we need to absolutely wake up and realise engineering before ideology, not after. Matthew Warren, thank you so much indeed for your time. Really appreciate it.